there. Okay, so let's start talking about business. Can you hear me well?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, because you cut out a little bit there. I don't know.
Hopefully it'll be fine now. It should be all good.
Okay. So, how did it go with your client that had the special kids school?
So I'm still looking for them. I'm a little confused for them because they were looking at a particular property that they said is zoned industrial, which the zoning that I have, it doesn't technically say industrial, and it's office space. So they're concerned that getting the zoning changed from industrial to be able to be used for a school would take too long and wouldn't work. But when I'm looking at the map, there's a daycare right by there that still has the same zoning. So I don't feel like it would be that difficult. And it even says like on its like current land use, it says office. It doesn't say industrial, it doesn't say warehouse, it says office. So I guess my thought was that I was going to call the city that it's in and ask and say, hey, what can we do with this? Is this a possibility? Because maybe that call hasn't been made based on what they were telling me previously.
Okay. My recommendation is go to the city.
Go, don't call.
Yeah, go to the city, and the cities are more friendly than we anticipated or we expect. They are very nice. Most of them, they will guide you. They will tell you the person that you have to talk to, and they're interested in raising taxes. So the land or the area is developed, they're better off. So and especially when you have that specific activity, that is related with education. So that's very important. So go to the city. What city would that be?
It's in Fort Walton Beach.
Walton Beach, okay. Yeah. Go there to zoning and ask the zoning department, and then talk to the person. Take the address clear and print out if you can on the rent tax roll, and go there and find out exactly what they would allow for.
And then if that one works, cool. It's kind of too big and more expensive than they were looking for anyway. So I found some other options that might potentially work for them too.
Okay.
So that was exciting, but I'm still, and I think for me, in residential, everything is boom, boom, boom. It happens very fast. And I feel, is that the same for commercial? Like boom, 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 it needs to happen fast, or?
It depends. It depends on the project. There are some projects that are slower. There are projects that are faster, and it really depends. Now, this space, as you said, is going to be larger or bigger for what they need, but you can always bring to the table that they can lease out a portion of the property.
Right, that's what they intended to do.
And the nice thing is that if they own the whole property in the near future, when they expand, they may, cancel the lease with the tenant and expand right there. So
we don't want
a win-win situation there. More than going to exact size, and then they expand and they cannot expand because they don't have any other property there. So
I mean, it would be job security if I just found to fit their needs right now, right? But we don't want that. I know, I was just joking.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I feel like I have a good grasp on theirs. It's just a matter of getting into the zoning issues.
Okay, good.
And for the other one, I spoke with the listing agent on the building they're trying to buy. It's really hard to understand him. So I feel like I'm assuming some form of Eastern European descent. And I could not, I could not understand him very well. So I think what I need to do there is attempt to email communications. So that way there's some deciphering.
Or text. You know what? Text is faster.
Yeah.
Try to do
Yeah.
text. And like you you call him and you didn't understand and say, listen, by the way, after our phone call, I had this doubt. 1, 2, 3, 4, and do it like that. That's the only way that you can probably yeah, that the language is a barrier. But if it's written, that's the only way to go. Unless it's another realtor, or unless it's another agent in his office that work together. Is a she or
it's a male.
It's a male. It's a he.
It's a male. He's in like Michigan or some other state also. So you know, the questions that I wanted to ask him, you know, like, hey, how did you come up with your cap rate? I wasn't going to ask him those. I wouldn't have been able to understand him. So, it's a matter of finding, you know, making sure that that number is correct in presenting. I think that they want to move forward because finding financing and learning the correct price, we can submit a letter of intent to kind of show that we want to go forward. Yes.
Yes. The pricing isn't that bad for what I saw overall. Now the cap rate is an issue, I think, but I don't know the market. I cannot speculate. But if I had to give you a guess, I think that the cap rate is a little bit on the downside, on the low side. I think that it should be more around 7, probably.
So that would make the price a little less.
That would be the price a little bit better. So anyhow, you're going to, is any way we can pull and do a financial analysis there? We have all the information. We can do a 5-year projection. Are they going? They're going to give some down and some financing, right? Do you have the terms of financing for them?
I think they're talking with SBA, so I would imagine 10% down and 90% financing.
Okay, and they're going to use it for themselves.
Yes.
Okay. So, but anyhow, let's not assume. Check with them. Or tell them so you're not bothering them to who's the loan officer in the bank, and you can talk to the loan officer and ask, listen, I'm running a pre-financial analysis here on this property, and I would like to know the lending conditions.
Okay.
What's the amortization time, and what's the interest rate? What they usually have is 2. They have 2 loans. One loan really is just one loan, one wraparound loan, but one is given by the government and the other one is given by the bank. The government gives you 50% and the bank gives you 40%.
Okay.
And it's a total of 10% down, what you said. And now what you have to do is to get the combined interest, or we can roll both if you like. I have that financial taken care of. Now we have the initial down payment, which is going to be the 10%, and then what we have to do is probably we're going to do an estimate based on how much is the rent now, or how much is they represented that the rent can be, and then we can do that. Remember, as we do in the CCP, we can do one 5-year, and then let's take a cap rate of 7%, or better yet, let's see Yeah, let's try to buy it at 7%. That will be the purchase. And the exit in 5 years is going to be 7% also. So you can put all those numbers, and once you have it like in an Excel, you can send it to me, and then we can review it. But the idea would be, what's the objective? The objective is to put a financial analysis of 5 years, and then we can find the net present value of that investment. And that net present value, remember, if it's positive, it's going to give that we're getting a better rate than expected. If it's negative, we're going to get a worse rate than expected. And then we have to adjust down. In the other one, we never adjust. When we're buying, we never adjust up. But we know that we have some margin there for that. But that's the way I'll do it. And we do a model for that, and we play around. And then you show it to your clients. You say, listen, I think that if we start with the 7% cap, or do also the scenario of the 6 point, I believe it was 637.
I think so.
Okay. Well, whatever they represented, we can use that one. We can use like 675, and we can use 7. So we use 3 scenarios, and then we see what price should be the correct one or the appropriate one to do the letter of intent.
Okay.
And then the letter of intent, we form it based on this analysis that we're going to do. And that will give us more strength for them to accept the offer.
Okay. Now, they've been talking with a lender. If we don't know exact figures yet, should I just get like rough estimates from that lender?
Yeah, if you get an estimate, that will be fine.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to have the model with variables. So if they tell us that it's 675 now and results that is 650, then we can change it, and that's it. Okay.
Okay. So I'm doing the net present value for 5 years with the formulas that I have from CCP.
That's correct.
Okay, I can do that. That I know I can do. Cool.
Okay, good, good. Let's put into practice what we learned.
Let's do it. Okay.
All right. That will give you a lot of credibility with your client, because most of the brokers out there, the realtors out there, they don't do this. They're not prepared to do any of this, unless they are top notch, like CCIMs guys and things like that. But usually most of the people, they just go and look for properties like they were residential and say, oh, we have this one here, we have that one there, but without any support, without any. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm going to mathematically show them then. Perfect.
So what else?
Well, those are the 2 that I have. Shockingly, I announce I'm in commercial, and I have two referrals right away.
And wait until you start putting signs out there. How the rain is gonna come.
So I actually just updated my homework, my SWOT analysis, because that's actually where did I put it? Let me look. On the SWOT, I put it as
in Excel?
Huh?
Do you have it in Excel or but you don't have it in the computer, right?
My SWOT analysis? I have it here. I can email it to you.
Okay, no, because you have it in electronic way, right? In Word. Okay, I'll let you share. Let me.
Well, I'd have to. It's on. It doesn't connect here. I can email it to you.
Okay. Okay, email it to me.
Give me your email address just this one time, then it'll be there.
Joe MS.
JOE or J?
JOE MS at msn.com.
At msn.com. So Joe MS at msn.com.
You send it? I'm gonna look for it.
Says email sent.
Okay, let's see here.
Did it come to you yet?
No.
Well, while you're looking for it, it dawned on me because right previous to this, I had a brokerage meeting, a Zoom meeting with Jackie discussing the residential changes. And as a mentor there, I have to be fully involved, right? So being fully involved there and then being fully involved here, I was like, holy mackerel, that hurt. That's, that's going to work against me in some ways. Obviously we can help it to work for me.
That's a magic word there. Let me see. I'm gonna put you the email. It's strange that it hasn't got it. Let me see. joems@msn.com, right?
Yes, let me try sending it to myself if maybe it just likes joems@msn.com. Yes.
At msn.com, yeah.
Just go ahead and try to send all of them. Mine showed up. It's coming from my Remarkable, so it might be in your spam.
Let me check.
But it came to mine, so let me just pull it up and share.
Let me.
Do you have it now?
No.
Huh.
I'm gonna write it down here just in case. I'll put it in the chat. You can just copy and. Strange, he hasn't got it here.
Wait a second. It's in the chat for you.
You put it in the chat? Okay. Let me see. Okay, competitive market analysis. See what happened now, how you open it here. It takes me to my folders.
Do you want me to just share my screen?
Yeah, that's what let me allow you. Ah, okay. I see what happening here. Says no. You know, I click in there and let me see. Okay. And it take me to my folder.
I don't know.
Yeah, send it by email again once more, please.
By email?
Yes, but
Sure
just
thing.
copy the email exactly as I put it in there to make sure that is. All right, got it. 3 now. Something happened.
Gotcha.
Okay. Ah, okay. I see what you mean. That okay. Okay. CCIM. Okay. Okay. Let's see then here. Who is MBI?
Oh, so the competitive one, NBI is
Just 1 second. Let me. I'm sorry. Let me get this here and let me share it so we can. Right here. MBI. Who's MBI?
NBI is probably the ones that everybody was telling you about, the group of 2 or 3 guys that
The
are
5 guys and a burger.
yeah.
Yeah. That I used to love that. 5. Okay.
Yeah. So they're local, and I think they're awful actually for business. They because they are putting people out of business by buying things themselves and starting businesses themselves. And I think they've just finally come around to realize, oh shoot, we probably shouldn't have done that. Because now they're trying to sell those businesses that they started, but not at a like they're losing money on them. I've signed some NDAs and looked at financials. Like they I mean, I get like, for instance, they bought a boat dock where several small charter companies were, and they decided to kick everyone out of there, and they had only their charter company, and they started renting pontoon boats. Well, that business failed, and now none of those businesses want to use them. So their reputation has gone very downhill because they've been shutting down long time running small businesses.
Yeah, that's a no. I met with some people. I knew some people down in South Florida. They built a shopping center, and as they couldn't fill it out on a regular basis, or they want to fill it out fast, they start financing like franchises for people to get in there, to show in the books that they were paying rent. And at the end of the day, they lost the shopping center. And I was listen, what are you doing? We have to rent to credit worthy people here. Yeah, crazy. Okay, so MBI, but they are knowledgeable on the market and on the commercial.
Yeah, they've been doing it now for a little over 10 years. They're knowledgeable.
Okay, are they realtors? Are they in the MLS? They list the properties in the MLS?
Not always, but yes.
Okay. Then I have, who's this? Melody Skipper.
Melody Skipper is with Keller Williams. She's been a commercial agent for over 20 years. But she does enough for herself to be successful by her definition, but she's not huge. She could be if she wanted to be, but I feel like she chooses to not be. Her children are grown, so she and her husband are traveling more, so she's not huge in the business currently.
Any way that you could bring her over?
I don't know. She's been with Keller Williams. She's been with Keller Williams since I started in real estate, which is I met her then professionally, but I also knew her daughters. They played volleyball with my cousin. So like I've known her from previous, as a child and then professionally. But maybe.
Yeah, because people switch, and if, in fact, if you compare 70% with 100% commission,
Yeah. Now that we have, a growing commercial department, somebody to come over as,
that
a
would be
mentor,
nice,
like
and then you can start building a team with her,
yeah,
because she's got the knowledge and said, "Listen, you're working so hard, you have the knowledge. Let's join here, and we will take care of the business along with you. And
yeah,
we can split, and that will be better. You get 50% of something that while you're traveling, you're not gonna get it. So why don't we?
sure.
So I have a coffee with her, and
Okay.
and probably in that meeting you're not gonna ask her to join, but probably tell her that you are entering into the commercial, and you appreciate her a lot in the market, and if she can give you some hints, tell her that you already did a certification, a commercial certification, and you know how to do financials in properties and all this, and have a coffee.
Okay. Perfect. Good.
That's very, very important. Now, what do they specialize in? The MBI and the Melody? They do everything, or they do a niche?
NBI does everything. Melody does more tenant, like landlord and tenant
Retail.
representation. Yeah.
Okay.
Retail spaces. Yeah.
Both sides, landlord and tenant rep. Okay.
Yes, I've seen her do both. But like when I own, because my partner and I, we owned our own real estate brokerage, and she was our landlord. Like she represented our landlord. So that I got to work with her professionally as well.
Okay.
To that end.
Okay. Very good. Moving to the next one, John Paul Summers.
Yeah, John Paul Summers is somebody who, I mean, you hear that name and you're just like, oh, he does it all. He has been in the business and he's been local a very long time. He does have stuff, in the Fort Walton, Mary Esther side, but he's much bigger and well known from Destin to 30A.
Wow, you graded him on 5 of each one. So
well, because I'm sure that there are people that if they said they didn't like him, it's probably a jealousy thing, because he's got systems in place. He's got a team in place. He basically, like, it's his name. He's built it up to where that, like, if he gets a call, he's got somebody on his team to send him out to do the work at this point.
Good. Do you know him?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's another coffee that you can have.
Okay.
Just to listen, I'm starting here in this and trying to get in a good street, and I have my certification, and I'm willing in doing. I would like to do retail and this and that. Talk to him. You always speak, and if he's a nice guy, as you say, he will talk to you, and he says he has his own brokerage thing. His own brokerage.
It is now, yes.
Okay.
It is his now. Summers and Associates, I believe, is the name of it. But it just always says John Paul Summers so big. I don't even know what the brokerage name is.
Okay. And he's been around for years, right?
Yeah, a long time. Okay. And he does residential too, which is I'm glad that you suggested a coffee with him, because obviously if I'm sticking around, I want to keep mentoring residential. So to be able to combine the two, it would be really cool to talk to him on how he's been so successful.
Excellent. Then I have the number 4 is Adam
Warner.
EXP.
Yeah, so he's new to commercial real estate. He comes from a digital marketing background, and I debated putting him or Michael Hoover, which I wrote him at the bottom. Michael Hoover just does ongoing concern. So that's why I did Adam, because Adam does both ongoing concern and physical real estate. So, he's, like I said, he's new, he's with EXP. He has at EXP, you have to have a mentor from EXP. So, but Adam, is the dad of one of my daughter's, classmates. And so when I told him I had this idea, like Adam's like, hey, let me take you to lunch. And he's like, hey, here's what I'm doing. He's just so open with all of his knowledge, as well as Michael Hoover. So I wanted to include one of those just for somebody that's like not quite there yet, but like maybe just a couple steps ahead of me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would,
That's perfectly correct. I mean, what you have to see is what do they doing, and trying to
yeah,
see the good things they're doing and just copy them, and
yeah,
trying to see the bad things they're doing and trying not to copy those. Yeah,
right.
that's as simple as that. I mean, that's what we use the competitive analysis for, and also to get friendship with them, because
Yeah,
remember, I always use the word cooperation, cooperating. It's
right.
very important. It's very important. As
Sure.
much as you compare, the better you're going to have results.
Yeah. And it was really interesting. I'm glad that I made the decision to do that, because I could see, like, in some ways, even though he's ahead of me length time wise and experience, because he's got some transactions under his belt commercial, I'm like, there are some ways that, I have more to offer based on my own experience and knowledge. So that this was a really fun exercise for me.
Yeah. In fact, the word competitive should be cooperation. That's what I
I
say.
agree.
It
When
should
you were
be
just saying that, I
cooperation.
was like, oh, we should do that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's see. Well, it looks good. Just put it in clean and try to get these melodies, the name,
Skipper.
which will not be KW, and this the name, and this, well, this they're basically in EXP, they are their own boss. In EXP, they have their own, they say, are
Yeah.
you familiar with the EXP model?
Yeah, I came from EXP. I was a residential mentor for the state of Florida.
Ah,
Yeah.
and why did you leave?
I needed people. I needed an office. I cared for my dad through COVID struck, and then my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And so while the whole world was under a rock, we were further under that rock, and for a longer extended amount of time, because he had a 0% chance of survival. And my promise to him, as long as he wanted to live, then I would do everything in my power to help him do so. So it got very lonely. And so being at EXP just only exacerbated the loneliness. And I've known Jackie for a very long time, and had been trying to get me to come meet with her anyway. And I was like, I need people, and I know Jackie was good people. And as it turns out, I really liked all the processes and systems also. I came for the people and stayed for the whole shebang.
Excellent, excellent. Very good. In fact, I think that you are in great hands. I love Jackie. I think that she's a go-getter and
Yeah.
excellent. In fact, she was the only one after I had my agreement with Rock Corporate.
Uh-huh.
The only one that came up front to do what she did was she. I mean, was her. I mean, she did the certification. Let's do it. I mean, she's a go-getter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not like the other
She is.
people that I have, not even in Miami where I have my license.
Mhm.
The people don't compromise. When you have people compromising in commercial, you're not gonna succeed. That's for my experience.
Yeah.
Let me see the SWOT. See the SWOT analysis. Just 1 second.
And Jackie is like super cool. I even wrote broker on my strengths because Jackie, like, I've known great things about myself forever, right? But it takes a certain spark to pull those out of anyone, right?
Yeah.
And Jackie was far and away that spark that allowed me to not, I mean, I've always known I'm great, right? But allowed me to excel in my greatness. I think when you work for some people, they want you to only be so big because you can't be better than them, right? And
Yeah.
it's an ego battle, and Jackie just doesn't have that.
Yeah, she and Matt, I think they are also awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's why she's doing so well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it's not a matter of luck, or when people say no, she's very lucky. Lucky, no, she's got it. You know. Okay, let's see here. Let's see your strengths. Intelligent. No, is my time now.
No, I know that it's
Sorry.
my time. I know that
No, it's
I'm
my
ready for
time.
this.
Connected. Natural people skills. Tell me about natural people skills.
So I like to read a lot of books, and the most recent one I read was Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff, which was super cool. It's a scientific approach. Like if you're not good at working with people, like here's scientifically how you can frame and reframe and all this stuff. And what I found was that that's stuff I just naturally do, right? If there's like an odd moment, or if an uncomfortable situation, or if I'm losing interest with someone I'm speaking to, I can reframe things and get them drawn back in, right? And it's not in a manipulative way. It's a genuine interest in, a conversation or communication or relationship. So it's just some like things that people are writing books about are things that come naturally to me, which I'm finding, of course I've known, but what a great gift that is to be able to connect with people in such a real and authentic way.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Very good. So weaknesses. Weaknesses. New.
I'm new.
Jumping all over.
Well, that one is jumping back and forth because all of the changes that are happening in residential, right? I mean, I just came from a meeting where we're like, woo, 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 like everything is, and we're talking with all of the other agents and I'm trying to help calm them down. And then it's like, okay, stop doing that. Let's do commercial with JM right now. Like, so the jumping back and forth, as just from a neurodivergent, I have ADHD. Like it's difficult for me. It's not impossible. It's just difficult.
You have to, it's not easy. To be honest with you, I have now, I'm running a similar situation. I have 1 trillion things on my plate.
Yeah.
And what I tried, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but what I'm trying to do is to stick to an organized size model that I have. So I do this for this, I do this for this, and I do this for this. So that's the only way I can do it. It's not easy, but first of all, you have to set it up. If you don't set it up, you cannot manage it. Once you set it up, you manage it.
Yes.
And it has to be flexible. Yes, you cannot have a strict plan and say, oh, I cannot do that because no. I mean, things change because life is changing all the time. So, so you have to be first try to set up a plan, a model that you have for how much time and what the activities that you need to do in the residential, and what are the activities that you need to do in a commercial, and what are the activities that you need to do to produce money right away. So it's a matter of getting organized and stick to the plan as much as you can. That's what you have to overcome that weakness.
Yeah, that's time management is a big stickler for me, but that's what I have found.
This is another thing. Set it up. This is probably, and I'm so glad that you wrote it. I mean, this is a #1 problem that all the agents, especially commercial agents, have: admin support. And what happened, and I understand that, say, what's first, the chicken or the egg, you know? That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, when you started, you don't have enough money, or enough money to allocate to that business until you see that it start growing. So, but what I'll try to do here is try to be as economical as I can, but try to do something. There are admin assistants or virtual assistants that you can hire for a couple of hours a day only to start with. And they charge like $5 or $6 an hour.
Yeah.
You're talking about probably 2 Starbucks coffees.
Sure.
For having that assistant in there. So try to do that, because I tell you something, when I started doing real estate, I started, by the way, before I got trained and educated in the commercial, I started doing residential. And I started doing residential high-end. At the beginning, I say, I'm just gonna do high-end because it's better commission, and probably you work less than when you had, struggling to get a buyer approved for a house or whatever. So anyhow, what I did was, the first thing I did, I hired an assistant, part-time assistant, to take my files and to do my cold calling. Well, it was the cold call, expires calling. And I pay him, he was a boy, I pay him, he was a university student. I pay him like, at that time, it's a long time ago, I pay him like $5 an hour or $6 an hour, but I pay him $100 per appointment found. So when I could enter the house and do my presentation, he earned $100. And it was so funny, because one time I went to a listing presentation of a house that was about 3.2 million back there, probably it's high now. Sure. And it was a husband and wife, and there, and sit down and start going to do my presentation. And the gentleman says, before you start, I would like to know you. I would like to tell you that you have a heck of assistant. And I say, yes. He said, listen, if it weren't for him, you would not be here now.
Wow.
He insisted so much and spoke so highly about you. And so he said that, so he was kind of compromised for me, because now I'm going to do the presentation, the listing presentation. So, but I did listing presentation, and I usually, my listing presentation, I have kind of two listing presentation. I have the one for the people that don't care about numbers, or they don't know, or they don't understand those things, and a simple one. So, but this guy was an engineer. So, and so I pull out the good one, and the guy was impressed. So they gave me the listing.
Yeah.
But that guy, so I had him see when I started, and of course, after that I grew up, and then I hired a full-time admin assistant in my office and all that. But it's very important. You don't know how we cannot do work of $5 an hour or $10 an hour. We cannot. We're worth $200, $300 an hour. So that's something that you have to do as soon as you can. Or a girl, high school boy or girl that they need to do some. I mean, try to spend the less amount of money at the beginning, but make it worth. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Right. When I wrote that, I actually started looking into virtual assistant things. I have a meeting with somebody who works with Pocket Sphere, which is a new company, and it's like a tiered level of virtual assistants. But I have a meeting set up next week with one of the guys from Pocket Sphere to discuss how it's going for him and how it could help me. So already going down that road of like, it's just got to be something I have.
Excellent. I'm glad you're doing that. Okay, opportunities. No huge players. Yeah.
That's the one that we discussed, and you gave me the list of the big commercial companies
That's correct.
to offer their co-broke services.
They don't go there because they're not going to put a corporate office there. I mean,
Sure.
It doesn't pay for them, for a corporate to have that.
And you gave me a list of them. Is there somebody specific I should call when I call those places, or just who do I need to try to talk to?
I will try to talk to the broker, and say, listen, I'm here in Fort Walton, Destiny. I'm a new, be honest, I'm a new commercial agent. Before I started, I got certified. And you can tell real quick what is the certification about, because there are many certifications out there that are not like the one that you took. I mean, the one that you took was a very complete, comprehensive certification. So you can tell them that, and they will love that. And say, listen, if you have any needs here in the area, I'll be more than glad that co-lease with you or co-purchase with you. I mean, I can work on the buyer side. I can work on the tenant side, or I can work on the listings. And I'm willing to co-broke with you guys at 50-50. That way you won't lose that. It will be good for me, and that way you will not lose that deal. Because it's small for you, but for me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. ADTV, what's that?
American Dream Television. I am a host for that television show, and I've been in the air. We had some creative differences, but I feel like commercial real estate, getting into like staying in commercial real estate, staying with ADTV probably makes a lot more sense than residential, because we bring attention to the people and the places that make Fort Walton and Destin cool, right? It's a national show. I just get to represent this area. So I have,
in what channel? In what channel is it?
It's aired on Apple TV, Roku TV, YouTube channels, and I mean, it gets 20+ million views every month, all over the place. Yeah. So I was debating whether or not I wanted to continue that partnership, but it occurred to me that it's a very good, strong thing to have for the commercial side.
How long is your presentation in the show?
I get 5.5 to 6 minutes to introduce one or two businesses, or it can be, I mean, I've done a nonprofit, I've done an individual. I showed a short-term rental, a remodel. It was beautiful on the beach. I have creative freedom over what I present.
You charge the owners, you charge the agents. So how does it work?
It's a marketing expense for me. I was asked to come on, but I pay for like the editors and stuff. So it's a set monthly fee for me. But I chalk it up to a marketing expense. But I don't charge any of the businesses to be on the show. I do that as a benefit to our relationship.
Okay, have an idea.
Okay.
Why don't you develop or create a session called Commercial Tips?
Commercial tips?
Commercial tips.
And
here, that would be what, weekly or monthly?
For ADTV?
Yeah.
It's every other month is when my shows can air.
Okay.
I get a segment every other month.
Okay. Let's do that segment of commercial tips. I can help you with that. I can send you all the information. I've been doing this American-wise since Latin America, everybody. And I have many, many commercial tips that I can share with you. And either we can do it together or you can do it yourself. I send you the PowerPoint presentation. And those are made more to the public than to agents. Like you say, I'm going to rent a space for my business. What do I need to do?
Okay.
First, be careful with the contract. It must be the most expense that you have in your business and all that. So think about it, and I'll have the information I can just share with you.
Yeah.
If you think.
I wouldn't be able to do that on ADTV because American Dream, it has to be like people or businesses in Fort Walton and in Destin that make this area great. So it's not educational in the sense of like,
got you.
But I could still do commercial tips because I have a big following because of this ADTV on my social media and YouTube channel. So I'm still happy to produce those because they'll get seen, which would be great.
Excellent. I'll send you that.
Okay. Excellent.
Strategic partners, we talk about that. Threats, economy. Do you think the economy is going a little bit sour? Honestly,
I mean, I think that the Federal Reserve would love to have a bunch of minions that just work for the Federal Reserve. So, but I think that there are ways around the economy. And I think that owning a business and operating a business and owning real estate is in that tutorial on getting around a bad economy. So I think that we can use it to our advantage in our world. But yeah, if you're not paying attention and you just think, well, I'm just going to have a job and that'll get me by. Yeah, the economy is going to be shit for you.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, very good. We have here many residential jumpers.
I've noticed like a lot and maybe because of all of the changes with the buyer brokerage agreements, which I personally love buyer brokerage agreements. So, okay. But there's a lot of people like, oh, residential is just too hard. Like buyers are, scared. So they're like, I'm going to go ahead and just try going to commercial. I feel like there's a lot of people recently that are saying, I'm going to do commercial real estate. So, it's just an opportunity really for me to differentiate myself among those. Like I'm not jumping ship, I'm expanding. So.
Excellent. Very good. Okay. Let me go here. How are we doing with the presentation?
Say that again.
The presentation. Have you start working on your presentation?
I have not.
Okay.
Which presentation?
I sent you the info, right?
I don't recall. I thought I saw everything from you. JM presentation.
Yeah. I'm sure that I sent it to you. I sent you a draft so you can
Oh, the Raj commercial?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have that done. I'm sorry, I missed that in my list of.
Okay, also, Ashley, it's important to have well-defined your niche, your target. That will go with the presentation. And what we're going to do is we're going to start building a database of properties in the area that you're going to working. And
I've started that.
okay. And this presentation with a letter of presentation or introduction, it will be your start. You send that to the owners, and then you wait about a week and call them. Say, by the way, did you receive my information? And I'm a commercial realtor. I'm here to help you. Who is doing your property management? I can give you some hints in property management. Who is doing your tax? Do you do tax appeals every year? What's that? So
Yeah.
you start getting into that script of being a help for them without saying, I need you the listing. I want the listing. Okay. The listing will come by itself.
Right. I started that. Go ahead, finish and I'll.
But if you don't have the presentation, what are you going to send them? So do the presentation. You have the draft there. Just prepare the introductory letter and start sending that right away to the people that you have in your database. Okay. And you're going to see results right away. It would be a very effective. A lot of people say that's old-fashioned, but sometimes old-fashioned works.
Sure.
It's not only social media. Of course, social media is very important, but nowadays, and it's very important, especially for the presence that you have to have in the thing. Okay, well, other than that, I think that we're in a good shape. Any moment that you need help with that, with those two deals that you're working, or the third deal, whatever, just text me. And if we set up a call. If not, we can do it through the chat. But try to fix those for next week.
Okay. The question I have for because I started, I was looking at, if I like to represent services, right? So the leasing or the purchasing or the selling or renting or, of those buildings. So I started looking at, buildings that have bays, and you're right. It's a corridor. It's not really a block. It's this street and that street and that street. But I started doing it and I made a spreadsheet. Is there certain information that you feel I should definitely include on that spreadsheet? I just have I don't feel like I have a lot of information that I'm getting, but also still a lot. I don't know. Maybe I'm not making sense.
Okay. Do you have it there? Can you show it?
Yeah. Do you want me to, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I only got a few because I wanted to make sure I was doing it correct prior to, let's see. All right. So what I have, I've got the address, and if there is a unit number, the city, I've got the owner name and who the contact is there. I can find their phone numbers from that. The owner's address, because I'd imagine that you want me to send that presentation, a physical presentation.
Yes.
Okay. So I have the address, and then if it's that particular building that I'm finding, if it's occupied or vacant, or if it's already for sale or for lease, the square footage, the business name, and you said do the number of bays. I gave myself some notes here, and then a link to the RPR site for the address.
Perfect. You don't need more than that. You have plenty of information. You have everything that you need.
Okay.
Perfect. Keep going and get that, and then you start working with the presentation. You're gonna love this because it's such a simple system. But once you have the presentation, you just print a bunch of those, a bunch of the letters, send it. In fact, in some that that the owner is there in the property, you can take it yourself.
Okay.
And that I will give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. Listen, by the way, this is our offering. Don't throw it to the garbage can, please.
Perfect. Exactly. Yes.
Okay, so let's work on that and we'll be in touch. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, JM.
Thank you. Bye. Good luck.
Thanks so much.